think one of the key features of the Freeport and the bid from the Tees is having the Skills Academy that is absolutely part of the bid and will be run by a consortium including the local colleges, and that means that the industry that's on the Freeport and surrounding the Freeport are very in touch with the local providers and in touch with that route to the young people, to people changing careers, and make sure that those skills are relevant, and there is a really good pipeline of individuals. I think we do have a challenge ahead of us in that there are a lot of people who, coming out of pandemic and coming out of the downturn in some sectors that the pandemic has caused, we've got a challenge around retraining. There'll be people who are looking to move sectors, and actually if we can capture them and make them ready for these new jobs, that's going to be a real bonus. The problem we're going to have is around timing, is that what we can't have is a lot of people coming out of college fully qualified and not necessarily having the jobs ready for them to go into, because we'll lose them to other areas, and that's really what we don't want to do. So I think there is a conversation to be had and a job of work to be had around how we can maybe pool some employers together to train a cohort, and in very much the way that the old ICI used to do with training apprentices and training for skills, and I know certainly in the construction sector that's been something that has happened as well. If we can do that, then it means that we can really retain those skills on Teesside, and make sure that we use our local providers. There's a really good route through as well to careers advice. That's going to be absolutely crucial. These are very new jobs in sometimes new and very cutting edge technology. If you look at something like the Net Zero project, this is technology that's not been used before. It's something that the general public probably aren't that aware of, and to be advising young people to go into and what those opportunities are ahead. We've got to make sure that plays into careers in schools, and that teachers are aware, careers advisors are aware, so that we get young people making the right decisions, and those coming out of university as well. The universities in the region have got a role to play in this, in making sure that those costs are there.
One of the key premises of the Freeport was actually driving a low carbon economy. And we've touched on that a little bit with offshore wind, and Rachel mentioned net zero. I think Teesside, again, has a fantastic role to play at the centre of the low carbon economy in the future. And if you look at carbon capture and storage, if you look at low carbon hydrogen, industrial decarbonisation, there are some fantastic opportunities. And I think it is all about making sure that we are training people for those future jobs. And I think it is incumbent on private employers like Semcor, but others, to get together and say, what are the skills we need to run hydrogen CCS facilities in the future? And making sure through schools, through colleges, retraining, we're making sure that those jobs are available and that there are people in the region that can fill them. So again, I mean, Freeport enables that, but I think also everything going on around the net zero transition, Teesside is very well placed to take advantage of that.
Projects that are being mentioned at Teesport and in the Freeport are high profile, and those projects are very attractive to us as a company, but also to highly skilled individuals who are elsewhere in the country, and it makes attracting them to our business a much easier job if there are high profile projects on the doorstep.
Put millions of pounds into this academy. We've got thousands of people signed up, we've got thousands of CVs, and it's split into people who are ready to work tomorrow. And when those jobs are created, we can put them into work. There are some people that need some upskilling, and there are some people that are just unqualified to work and they're furthest away from the job market. Now, we can skill them to an extent, but some of the qualifications they need are practical experience on site. We're not even talking about apprenticeships. They need on-site training from a health and safety point of view, etc. That requires the private sector to invest in those people and bring them on board. And that might be a little bit earlier than they were expecting. And that might be an additional cost to that business. But in the long run, it will help us fund the training and help that business retain a good quality employee for the long term. And there is a link there that we need to be better at joining up.
But Ben's quite right. And actually, what needs to happen here is something transformational in terms of the pace at which we skill our people up, because actually, again, Ben's right. We don't have the capacity and the volume of of immediate skills to maybe furnish this project as it stands. But there are a lot of people out there who are hungry for opportunity, as we well know. And one of the things we've done recently is launched an initiative very much in this vein, which is we recognise that a lot of people, particularly young people, have been displaced out of their traditional careers, if you like, as a consequence of the pandemic. So this program we've launched is called Constructing Careers, and it actually provides free access, zero cost for individuals for an entry-level qualification to construction, and actually an interview then with the job agency that will help place them. And that's for anybody who's out of work or found themselves displaced. And that first wave will actually see 400 people put through this program, 100 of which are actually on Teesside. And we expect to see a real good proportion of those coming out of that program will find themselves a ready-made route into construction, and hopefully find themselves contributing very quickly to this Freeport initiative. So it's about taking action now and getting people skilled up sufficiently to get entry into a particular career. And then the world's oyster from there. They can progress through those different technical skills, or whatever it might be that takes a fancy, but at least we've given them an opportunity to take part in this. And we see that being very important.
Yeah, I echo the concerns at the challenge that are being raised. I guess several points here. First of all, as PD, I think we're the largest private sector employer in the Tees Valley. We've actually, over the period of this pandemic, we've taken in 115 new people into our business, including 50 apprentices. So this is something that we are acutely aware of, and it is difficult to find people with the necessary and appropriate skills for our business. In terms of our stevedoring, our warehousing, our port operations, our engineering, and the range of functional support services that sit within that. We saw this problem looming about, 6 years ago now, I guess, and we set up an organisation with another company, Caspers, on Teesside called High Tide. The purpose of High Tide, which is a charitable foundation, is to actually get out into the schools and galvanise local industry, local employers, together with the education sector, and link the two up and get to children at a relatively young age, i.e. when they're still in junior school, and acquaint them with the range of opportunities that actually sit on their doorstep in the Tees Valley. I mean, believe it or not, we were going into schools and we were talking to children about ports and port operations, and there were parents and children who did not realise that Tees Port and the wealth of opportunity that sits on the River Tees simply through the port business actually existed. So this has to start very early in terms of galvanising a recognition of those opportunities on the part of young learners. Rachel has then very, very eloquently painted the picture, and again, of the partnership that needs to exist to deliver the Freeport opportunity, because we talked a lot about local government, we talked a lot about the construction industry, we talked about ports, logistics, we talked about the functional service providers, but a really huge part of this is the education sector, because without the education sector, we won't produce people with the necessary skills to enable them to take advantage of the opportunities that sit in the area.